Hey, how's it going, everybody? Let me show you the two vintage items that I picked up. This first one being a batshit crazy thing that I found at my Goodwill. Something too freaking crazy to pass up. Definite conversation piece here. And I'm guessing on this, mainly because the smaller versions of it, somebody showed one opened up and it was dated. I think 1955 or 56, so I'm figuring this is definitely from the 50s, as they were made from the 1940s, late 40s up till 71, which wanted to get some information on this before I do the video, so I did find an article which was describing it really good, and then why they quit making it, which damn good reason to quit making these things. Anyways, thought this was like an old typewriter or something when I spotted it, because it's in this metal suitcase and it's heavy. Definitely got a lot of guts to this thing. Anyways, I got the handle, but it's busted off a long time ago. Otherwise, what I have here is a Model 8 Relaxicizer. It's the deluxe version. Crispies. Guess that's all right. Anyways, this was intended for weight loss back in the day, to where it had to do with basically electrocuting yourself. It's each one of these dials here, 6 of them, as you can do, I guess, 6 at a time, or maybe 12 at a time, I don't know. They were saying you have to have 2 things hooked up at once or it won't work, which unfortunately says what you hook it up to, and then you place it on parts of your body, but I guess you have to have 2 of them in order to make the conduction. And I guess what this does is work through shocking you in electric pulses, and it was supposed to work the muscles and then burn away the fat, which was bullshit. Anyways, have a cord coming off each dial with 2 electrodes, which you would hook into the pads, which the earlier ones, from what I could find, were even crazier. Is this, it looks like some kind of a vinyl that they got over the electrode there to protect you or not protect you. The earlier ones just had this outside shell, I guess, and then inside you literally had a felt sponge that you would get wet and place that on you wet and run electricity through your body. That's why Grandpa and Grandma are so fucked up and crazy. Because this is the kind of shit they played around with back in the day. Anyways, they also had like harnesses and belts and all kinds of stuff to put all over your body. So like I say, originally it was intended for weight loss, mainly in women is what they were pushing it on. And then I guess they were also pushing it towards men to say, oh, you can build up muscle with this, as it's supposed to work your muscles from contracting and whatever. And then I guess naturally in the 60s, because everything was, they considered it a sexual device, so they really started getting crazy with all the harnesses and stuff. Hence, if you want to see something funny, I damn near dropped this on my foot because I had it balancing in my lap because I started busting up. But for any of you that watch Mad Men, it's, I know it's season 1. It's one of the later episodes, like 10 or 11. I forget the name of it. But there's one where they're promoting this, and one of the ladies that's a secretary there, they give it to her to test it out. So naturally the harness is basically underwear, and she puts it on and takes it off about 1.5 seconds later. But it's funny, man. It's like, oh god. It tears it off. So you know what it did, man. The only thing she fucked up on is I saw she puts it on, but I didn't see her hook up the wires to it. So either that or I missed it. I don't know. I don't normally watch the show, but I do have a Netflix and they've got Mad Men on it. So if you got Netflix, you can watch that episode. What I'll do is I'll add it in a notation. So anyways, each one of these dials, I guess it's got to warm up or whatever and build up an electric current, and then you can adjust how much electricity you want flowing through your body until you're nice and crispity crunchity. So, I'll read what I found here. And I have added some of my own stuff to it because they're describing the older one anyways. The Relaxerciser is an electrical muscle stimulator. They date from the late 1940s to the early 1970s and sold for $200 to $400. Claims to reduce fatness by giving electric shocks to the muscles. And for the older one, wet felt pads were used and strapped or placed on the body, attached by cords to a power source. Pads can be placed on the stomach, thighs, arms, etc., even the face. Later on your genitals, which no, I'll tell you where the money's hidden. No, this is going nowhere near my nads. I don't even want it falling off disconnected on my nads. No, nothing's touching my nads and getting hooked up to this fucking thing. And then you just lay there and electric shock yourself into a slimmer, crispier you. Anyways, in 1971, the FDA declared the Relaxerciser to be dangerous, causing or aggravating medical conditions such as hernias and stuff or whatever, which once people get sued happy or whatever, some of this stuff could be bullshit, but then some of it, when you think about it, yeah. They were saying like it could start heart problems, cause heart attacks, whatever. This is after selling thousands of units, which, not in this article, but in another one, somebody was saying they'd sold up to 400,000 of these things until it got discontinued by the FDA. And then, let's see. Yeah, the FDA ordered the destruction of units, hence why these might be a little scarce for the older ones, or for them to be made just inoperable, hence why I do plan on taping up the electrodes and turning this on just to see if it'll work, because there's supposed to be some light bulbs in it or something, so you'll know if it's on or whatever. And I guess something in it winds up like a motor or something, I don't know. Anyways, yeah, also banned the resale of already purchased units. So if you had one, you couldn't resell, which it's Goodwill. They don't give a shit. And then, yeah, everything else I already told you on the weight loss and stuff. Started out with weight loss, and then they were pushing it for like muscle building because it worked your muscles. And then later on in the 60s, I guess, is when they started calling it a sexual device, which they took away the whole mad scientist look of it and made it look more like an elegant type thing, fancied it up a bit, I guess, and also made it a lot smaller. So, another reason to stay fat and happy, people. So anyways, that's that. Okay, next thing I'm going to show is for you Superman fans. I got this at the same yard sale where I picked up the CDI. She gave it to me for $2, and another thing to where she figures it's from the 50s, and after looking it up, I'm thinking she might be right. It's got that 1950s toy look. Anyways, I played with them as a kid. A lot of people probably played with them too, but anybody remembers those, it was usually like a little army man or whatever, where you had a parachute on it, and you just toss them up in the air, and then he'd come down in the parachute. Anyways, this is basically the same thing, but a lot bigger. And I don't ever plan on using it. Mainly because it could be from the 50s and really fragile on how he's made. and definitely generic looking, or just has a definite bootleg type look to it. As the Superman symbol, the S on his chest. Basically, he's just an upside down yellow triangle, and it looks like if this guy was life size, that somebody just got spray paint and did an S. It looks nothing like the original symbol. Also, the face on it just looks like an older guy. This is what he looks like. A lot of the paint's come off. And the arms and legs do move, but not much. That's about as much as I want to move it because it's really thin plastic and looks like one of those cheap novelty toys that you would have bought back in the 50s or whatever. So they don't even sand down the edges. They didn't give a shit about a kid cutting themselves on it or whatever. So they never trimmed it away from the fingers, and also around on the inside of the arms. It's really rough. But what's cool, fairly large parachute here, and then this attached to the front of them, so they meant to throw it up in the air, have the wind catch it, and fly it like a kite. I have never seen one of these parachute guys to where you can fly it like a kite. Most of them are just meant to be thrown up in the air and then let it sail down. So on that, I really haven't found too much information on it to see if it really is from the 50s and how much it might be worth. It's pretty much the way I start on researching any of this stuff is I just do picture searches to Yahoo, Google, whatever, and then just go from there. A lot of times it'll be linked to a decent site, but it's mostly been just pictures that people have found one, posted it, and just shown it, and then gave their little brief description of what they think it is. But I haven't found it like on an actual vintage toy site or anything. But I did find one person that had one to where they got the Superman symbol on it right. It looked like the same toy, but it was missing the parachute, and also he is supposed to have his cape. But they didn't give like a date or anything on it. So if I find anything, I will add in the information for anybody that might have one of these turn up at a yard sale or whatever. Is once again $2. Even that he's a little tattered on the paint, it's functional, so it's got to be worth more than $2 at least. It's a cool little collectible thing. So that is all the pickups. If you guys find one of these, don't test it on yourself. Find somebody you hate to do that too. Which, I do live in Kingman, Arizona. I'm sure I could find a worthy victim. Hell, somebody might even volunteer around here. I am surrounded by blue-collar tweakers. Don't know. Sucks that I don't have more of these. I don't know how you test it out other than putting it on yourself to find out if it is sending electricity through it. I guess it does it in pulses. At first I thought it was one to where you just crank up the electricity. Hence the reason why I never test this is I go to an acupuncturist, good friend of the family, and she does other stuff too, but I've had something similar like this done to me to stimulate the muscles in my neck as I'm still having problems. But on that, it doesn't send the electricity in pulses. It's a constant flow of electricity, and then gradually increase it as much as you can tolerate. Which I'm probably not going to have that done again, man. It makes you feel really weird. It's like all the area got all numb. Which that probably could have happened to people too, with pads this big, depending on how much current that thing puts out. Could have gotten to where they just stayed numb in places, hence all the problems. So, stay fat and happy. Catch you all later.